Lycoris Recoil! As the title of the anime suggests, this anime is about an organization of young girls termed Lycoris. They are all orphans groomed to become spies or agents to protect Japan. Episode 1. A team of Lycoris has infiltrated a weapons deal to wrap up the weapons the goons possess. However, the goons have one of the girls hostages, so a top Lycoris, Chisato, is called to help on the scene. She rushes to the scene but doesn't make it in time because one of the girls, Takina, pulls out a machine gun and sprays the goons. The team couldn't get in touch with their headquarters at the DA because of hacking interference, so Takina decided to act on her own. As a result, she gets transferred from their headquarters DA to a small Lycoris base called the Recoil café. There, she meets its supervisor, Mika, its intelligence officer, Mizuka, and Chisato, the best Lycoris agent there is. After running a bunch of errands together, Takina asks Chisato what exactly the Recoil base does. Chisato then explains that they do their best to help out anywhere they are needed. Afterward, they carry out their first joint mission together, when a woman reports that she's been receiving threats. The woman took a picture with the earlier weapons deal scene in the background, and the goons demanded that she remove it from social media. The girls agree to be her escort to protect her, but Chisato returns to the cafe for a while. While on the road, Takina realizes they are being tailed. So she uses the woman as bait and blasts the people in the van. She asks about the weapons they had from the weapons deal earlier and keeps shooting at the van. Then Chisato arrives and decides to handle the situation herself. She tips Takina off about a drone flying nearby, then bursts into action, taking down the goons one after the other. She doesn't shoot to kill because she uses rubber bullets. Instead, she summons the cleanup crew to arrest the men in the van, leaving Takina baffled. Meanwhile, Shinji Yoshimatsu of the Allen Institute hangs up the phone with a hacker named Walnut. He used Walnut to orchestrate the interference at DA and a drone to monitor Chisato's movements. As a result, Walnut inquired about Shinji's involvements in the weapons deal, knowing that the Allen Institute is supposed to be an organization that helps geniuses from less privileged backgrounds achieve their dreams. However, Shinji ignores the questions and blows up Walnut's condo instead. Afterward, Shinji walks up to the Recoil cafe to meet his old friend, Mika. He also appears familiar with Chisato, having met many years ago. The next day, Walnut contacts another hacker, Robata, and learns that Robata was the one hired by the Allen Institute agent to kill him. So, Walnut reaches out to Recoil for assistance. Mika then tells the girl to transport Walnut safely to his destination. On their way, they get attacked by a gang of goons hired by Robata. He hacks their car and tries driving it into the ocean, but Chisato and Takina work together to destroy the drone he used for the hacking link. They barely escape the ocean and head into an abandoned supermarket. There they get surrounded by Robata's goons and drones. They fire rapidly at them, but Chisato displays her finely polished skills. She easily evades every bullet without any form of a guard and beats the goons with her rubber bullets. Then, she stays to heal one of them who got hurt by Takina's bullets. The others proceed to use the back door, but Chisato discovers that there's a trap waiting for them. She tries to warn Takina but only arrives to find Walnut getting riddled with bullet holes. Robata then proclaims himself the best hacker in the world, seeing that the top hacker Walnut is now dead. However, he was strong. Mika and Mitsuka had aided Walnut in deceiving Robata. Mitsuka was the one in the squirrel costume, while Walnut herself was in the heavy yellow box. The squirrel costume was bulletproof, and all that blood was probably ketchup or something. Afterward, they head back to Recoil, and the little hacker girl introduces herself as Kurumi. We all thought she was a guy from the onset, but hey, little girls can be tech-savvy too. Kurumi asked to hole up with them for a while, and in return, she'd help the team with intelligence. So, Chisato gives Kurumi her first assignment to unblur the pictures that has the weapons deal in its background. Later, Mika reminds Chisato that she has to take her medical fitness test at the DA. So, Takina asks to tag along. Takina has been dissatisfied with her transfer to Lycoris ever since her arrival. She believes the best way to become the best Lycoris she can be is to remain in DA. However, the Lycoris commander Kusunoki and her superiors needed a scapegoat for the loss of the weapons, and Takina had disobeyed the orders to stand by. The girls arrive at the DA for Chisato's fitness tests, and they can already hear whispers around them. In the dressing room, Chisato meets her former partner, Fuki, and criticizes her for hitting Takina. Fuki punched Takina after the weapons deal mission went sideways because the machine gun could have killed their teammate. Chisato asks Fuki to cut Takina some slack, seeing that Takina did what she had to do. Then she tries begging Kusunoki to let Takina back into the DA. However, Kusunoki explains that there is no way back in for Takina. Meanwhile, Takina meets her successor and Fuki's new partner, Sakura, who talks down to her and criticizes her handling of the situation. Tension rises and Takina begs Kusunoki to return to the DA, but Kusunoki stands firm in her decision. Takina sits beside a waterfall in the dorms, and Chisato follows her to console her. She tells her to look beyond the DA and that she can pursue her dreams wherever she wants. She asks her to give Lycoris a chance and then heads back to the training grounds to partake in some exercise against Fuki's team. She easily belittles Fuki and Sakura while she waits for Takina's arrival. Takina then arrives and they win the match together. Kusunoki tells her assistant that Chisato has a gift that allows her to study the trajectory of bullets, making it extremely difficult for her to be hit by one, even at close range. Later, while playing a game, Chisato notices that Takina is wearing men's underwear, so she decides to take her shopping for the right one. Afterward, they visit an aquarium, where Takina asks Chisato why she left the DA. Chisato responds that she is looking for someone who saved her life in the past. She shows Takina an owl pendant that symbolizes the Allen Institute, and explains that she's been searching for the agent from the Institute who saved her life. So, Takina cheers her up, assuring her that she will find the agent. Except, Chisato has already met this person, Shinji. In a bar, Mika asks Shinji why he has returned after 10 years, and Shinji casually says he wants to see how far Chisato has come. Meanwhile, a group of extremists and their leader, Majima, enter a train station to light the place up in hopes of killing people. However, they find the train filled with Lycoris agents who fire back at them. Unfortunately, Majima escapes and detonates an explosion in the station, burying most of the Lycoris. A month after the incident, Lycoris gets another mission to escort a terminally ill and wheelchair-ridden man, Matsushita, around Tokyo. He has apparently been away for a while and wants to sightsee parts of Tokyo before he dies. So, Takina and Chisato escort Matsushita on a sightseeing trip. Chisato then confirms to Takina that she uses an artificial heart. She once had congenital heart disease, so the person who saved her life gave her an artificial heart. At the cafe, Kurumi asks Mika about the artificial heart, after learning that it was given to Chisato by the Allen Institute. She asks Mika what Chisato's mission is, because the Institute always expects a mission fulfilled from those they've assisted. But Mika explains that Chisato's mission is entirely up to Chisato. Afterward, they notice the girls being trailed by an assassin, Jin, who Mika claims to have worked with 15 years earlier. They find it hard to intercept Jin because of his finely polished assassination skills, and Takina eventually gets injured by him. To protect Matsushita, Chisato jumps into the action and immediately disposes of Jin using her rubber bullets. They plan to end the scuffle and take Jin into custody, but Matsushita pressures Chisato to kill Jin. He claims Jin killed his family 20 years ago and needs to die. Chisato, however, objects to Matsushita's request because she dislikes killing people. Still, Matsushita presses that the owl pendant she possesses represents someone the Institute has helped. He expects her to repay the life given to her, but he doesn't say much to expose his cover. Instead, Matsushita's machine shuts down, rendering the old paralyzed man unresponsive. Later, Mika speaks with Jean about Matsushita's family, but Jean reminds Mika that they were together 20 years ago, and he couldn't have killed Matsushita's family. Jean explains that he got hired by a lady who paid him in cash to dispose of Matsushita. As a result, Mika releases Jean, and they discover that Matsushita is a fake. The man they met was an elderly, brain-dead addict who had been kidnapped from the hospital. The person talking to them used the goggles and machine. Meanwhile, Majima and his crew begin the retaliation when they corner a Lycoris agent and murder her in cold blood. Majima was contacted by the hacker, Robata, to help him defeat the DA and expose their cover-ups. But Majima has no patience working with Robata. He asks the hacker to find the DA's headquarters in 3 days, or else he'll kill him. So Robata gets thrown into his room, and he contacts Shinji. Shinji had hired Robata to kill Walnut, and told him to get in contact with Majima. He wants Robata to get Majima to go after Chisato. Meanwhile, Takina decides to live with Chisato because Majima and his goons have already killed 4 Lycoris agents. Martial law has been declared and they must exercise extreme caution. Unfortunately, Robata sends 2 goons to Chisato's apartment and records her scaring them away. Then he shows Majima, who surprisingly seems very piqued by Chisato's skill. He decides to kill Chisato first before finding DA headquarters. So he goes after her, using Robata's plan. Fortunately, Kurumi discovers that Robata obtained the photographs of the 4 dead Lycoris agents from the weapons deal. She becomes terrified and informs the others that Chisato's picture also got leaked that day. Then she admits that she was the one who hacked into DA and caused the leak in the first place. They all try to warn Chisato, who is out on an errand, but their warnings don't make it in time. Majima and his goons have already cornered her. However, Chisato's skill is not to be undermined. She outwits them and lures them into an open field. The fight favored Chisato until Majima spits blood into her face, blocks her sight, and then begins his assault on her. He notices her owl pendant, and is intrigued that she is an Allen child. Then the others arrive to save Chisato, and they all escape with Kurumi's help.